For their first home game of the season, the UCLA Bruin football team took on the BYU Cougars in the Rose Bowl. And while the Cougars kept it close towards the end, UCLA ended up pulling it off 27-17. Brigham Young hails from the Mountain West Conference and was quarterback Ben Olsen's former school before transferring to UCLA. They came into the Rose Bowl with an 11-game winning streak and were looking to defeat their third straight Pac-10 opponent after a 38-8 blowout of Oregon in the Las Vegas Bowl to finish last season and a 20-7 defeat of Arizona to begin this one. In the first half, the 13th ranked Bruins seemed to be in complete control of the game. Starting with Kai Forbath's 37-yard field goal, the Bruin defense scored the first touchdown of the game when cornerback Trey Brown intercepted a Cougar throw to run for 56 yards. In the second quarter, running back Khalil Bell carried 4 times in a row for 47 yards to score another touchdown. After exchanging field goals, the Bruins were up 20-3 going into halftime, and the stage seemed set for an overwhelming Bruin victory. But a nightmarish third quarter saw the Cougars roar back and get into position to take over the game. Since UCLA's run defense proved so effective, the Cougars began to rely more on sophomore quarterback Max Hall's throwing game in the second half, which began to cause the Bruin defense some trouble. An 80-yard BYU drive ending with Hall's pass to wide receiver Austin Collie gave the Cougars their first touchdown, and after an interception of Olsen's throw, another Hall pass to Collie put BYU within 3 points and on a 17-0 run. The Cougars then began the fourth quarter with a long drive down to the UCLA 13-yard line and seemed to be in position to tie or take the lead. However, defensive end Bruce Davis sacked Hall to create a critical fumble that UCLA took over, seemingly ending BYU's momentum. With less than a minute left, Chris Marquis rushed for UCLA's only points of the half to seal the game 27-17.
And that's what you want your offense to do, be able to put in that final 7 points to keep the game at a comfortable distance with a minute left.
Our goal this year is to finish our opponents off when we're up, and there was no doubt. We knew we were going to pull off the game and win. It was just a matter of digging down deep and doing it.
That was a good win. I'll tell you flat out. You know when you're playing against a good opponent. BYU's a good opponent, so that was a good win. They, like I said, they had an 11-game winning streak, so it wasn't like we came in and beat a 1 AA team or anything like that.
2 standouts on defense were Trey Brown and Bruce Davis. Brown had an interception run for a touchdown as well as a fumble recovery in the first half, and Davis had 2 sacks, including the one that created the critical fumble in the fourth quarter. On offense, Ben Olsen struggled at times against his former team, throwing for 1 interception and no touchdowns.
Seeing him after the game, he comes up to me, he says, "Coach," he says, "boy, that was a hard-fought win. I could have played better, yeah." But he felt like he's grown some, given that last drive he did in the game. So he's still learning.
Meanwhile, Khalil Bell had another solid game with 16 carries, 79 yards, and 1 touchdown. Overall, players and coaches agree that defensive and offensive outputs more resembling the first half of play than the second would be optimal if UCLA wants to achieve its goals for the season.
Like I said, we really didn't have a lot of rhythm, and we kind of let them back into the game by some of our mistakes and some of the things that we were doing, but we came through when it mattered, and we got the W.
The Bruins next go on the road to face Utah before resuming Pac-10 play against Washington on the 22nd. From the Rose Bowl, this is Josh Leamer, DBTV Sports.